Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank my fellow board members. Let's begin with our 2024 chair, Manny Graywall, whose State of the County address was, as the kids say, off the hook. He is a community connector, especially when it comes to our local businesses, and you can't beat his great sense of style and humor. Our Vice Chair, Vito Chiesa, is our most senior supervisor on this board. He takes his time to visit, learn about everyone he encounters, from department heads and county employees to taxi drivers to door dashers, you name it. I appreciate his vast knowledge and experience when it comes to governance, especially in the areas of agriculture and transportation. Supervisor Terry Withrow, he is a solution-oriented peacemaker, guided by his faith. He has a passion for supporting our most vulnerable communities. And my cousin and supervisor, Chance Condit, as you can see, I have known him his whole life. I was a few years younger back then. Supervisor Condit is a man who knows how to mobilize his constituents when it comes to issues they're passionate about. He is truly connected with those he represents in his district. I would also like to thank our county CEO, Jody Hayes, his executive team, our department leaders, our partners from across the region, and all of the dignitaries joining us here today. It is an honor and a privilege to serve this county alongside each of you, and your presence here matters. I also want to recognize the many county employees, often the unsung heroes, who carry out difficult, essential work on behalf of our community. Every day, often without recognition or fanfare. To those who support and protect our families and children, to the mental and behavioral health experts walking alongside individuals on their most difficult days, to the public health professionals who lift up the well-being of our entire community, to the road crews and infrastructure teams who keep us safe and moving, to our law enforcement and legal professionals ensuring justice and safety, to those who safeguard our resources, inspire learning, maintain our community spaces, and create pathways to opportunity, and to the facilities and administrative staff whose quiet excellence keeps our operations running. Thank you. Your work matters deeply, and we see you. It is this collective commitment from every role, every department, that gives meaning to this year's theme, We Are Strong and Resilient. I also want to thank my family for their unwavering support. Kim, Ethan, Eric, I love you very much, and I want to acknowledge your sacrifices. Public service is a commitment that affects the whole household, and I couldn't do this work without your support. Ethan couldn't be here today due to work, but I'm sure he's watching online with the other 5 million viewers. And I would also like to thank my brother, Lieutenant Buck Condit, who came up and gave the invocation, and as well as my mother-in-law and father-in-law, Dan and Phyllis Reeves, for being with us here today. Our county's strength and resilience come from not only strategy or policy, but from the people behind the work. Every department, every role, and every partnership contributes to building a county that adapts, improves, and delivers. Across our region, we identify strengths, double down on success, and embrace change when needed. It's about delivering results, not just staying the course, but adjusting ourselves when the winds shift, always guided by our core values. Our commitment to the people we serve and the partnerships that make progress possible is at the heart of everything we do. It is through these relationships, built on trust, collaboration, and shared purpose, and that we can meet challenges, create opportunities, and make lasting impacts. This is what drives us every day, and it is the foundation of our mission. We build community. Over the course of my service, I've had the opportunity to join our care team as they visited some of our most vulnerable neighbors, those living in makeshift encampments along the freeway and our rivers. What I have witnessed has been difficult, conditions that no one should endure. The first thing that strikes you is what you see and smell and the desperate living conditions. And yet, our dedicated teams walk straight into those environments without judgment, just compassion, and the spirit of service. They listen, they build trust, they offer help. One experience that stands out was an encounter with a family, children living in dire conditions like this, parents absent, and a relative unsure if they could continue to care for them. And still, our team stayed. They offered every service available, working to bring dignity, safety, and support to that family. Another case that struck me. We returned to check on a man living along the river whose leg wound had begun festering. The team recognized the danger he was in and if he didn't receive emergency care. He was brushing off our concern, but walking away isn't in our DNA. He wanted to shower and clean clothes to restore dignity before he would accept medical help. Our team arranged both, then stayed with him until he said yes to medical care, most likely saving his leg and perhaps his life. Regardless of an individual's status or situation, whether they are injured, wrestling with mental health challenges, substance use, or simply facing hard times, our approach stays the same. Each person matters. That's the culture we've built in Stanislaus County. Our homeless outreach model is deeply intentional and highly customized. Unlike traditional programs, we meet people exactly where they are, literally. Services are provided in the community, under bridges, on riverbanks, in parked cars, and on sidewalks, wherever someone feels safest. By embedding county agencies directly into the field, our care team can remove common barriers to access and expedite services, connecting our most vulnerable neighbors to help without delay. This model is more than innovative, it's effective. It recently received the ultimate compliment when San Joaquin County adopted our program model as their community outreach efforts. This kind of validation speaks volumes. It reinforces what we already know, that compassion, mobility, and cross-agency collaboration create the conditions where dignity and recovery are possible. With that same commitment to meeting people where they are and building systems that truly serve, we've applied a similar philosophy to how we respond in times of crisis, through coordination, preparedness, and a seamless network of support. As you see on the screen, our countywide emergency response system relies on Stanislaus Regional 911 Dispatch, the EMS agency, the Sheriff's Office, probation, the District Attorney, Victim Services, the Fire Service, the Office of Emergency Services Fire Warden, the Public Defender, and other partners. Each spoke matters. If one weakens, the whole wheel wobbles. I've personally seen the power of this network in action, both as a firefighter and now as a supervisor. Last year, we strengthened the wheel by elevating the Office of Emergency Services, OES, to its own department, ensuring the valley's floods, wildfires, earthquakes, pandemics, and even the occasional tornado meet a coordinated, prepared response. Thanks to the Sheriff's Department's guidance, support, and the strong foundation built, our OES stands ready to serve every corner of the county with strength and confidence. Of course, true safety extends beyond 911 responses. It also embraces the health of our minds and bodies. Mental health is public health. We continue targeted funding and a coordinated care through behavioral health and recovery services. One new example is Dignity Village Modesto, an interim bridge housing project funded by a $3.4 million state grant. It is located on City of Modesto property, built in partnership with nonprofit developer Dignity Moves.
Dignity Village Modesto is an interim housing site where individuals who are homeless on the streets are transitioning into permanent housing.
We have this facility with services right on site that can help these individuals deal with their issues, their addictions, their mental health issues.
They each have their own story and their own challenges, and a place like Dignity Village will provide wraparound services that will help them individually.
Housing is the first step for individuals to be able to feel safe and secure, and we're so fortunate to have brought this in our community.
So as the state funding comes down specific for this type of housing opportunity, we engaged our partners, one being the City of Modesto. They have a parcel of land on the corner of 9th and E Street that was vacant, and we just built off of that partnership. There are other communities being built like this in up and down the state.
We have taken a concept of Dignity Moves and bring that to Modesto.
This is going to have 42 rooms, and when you have your own private space, that is a game changer in people willing to come. I really think that if we can offer people a private space where they can have their pet, they don't have to worry that their things will get stolen when they leave.
Welcome and thank you for joining us today for the opening of Dignity Village Modesto. The City of Modesto and Behavioral Health and Recovery Services have delivered a project for our community that will increase our local capacity to provide safe, comfortable, a place for people to recover from the challenges of their life, and in particular here, serious mental illness and substance use disorders.
Since the grand opening, I'm happy to report that 3 individuals have already successfully transitioned out of Dignity Village, 2 into transitional and permanent supportive housing, respectively, and a third who was reunified with family and returned home. The community is now at full capacity with 42 residents, and we look forward to many more success stories as they continue on their path to stability. These numbers may seem small to some, but it's important to remember that the Care and Dignity Village programs are specifically designed to reach a few hundred of the most vulnerable individuals in our community. In that context, these numbers represent a strong and promising start. These kinds of outcomes are only possible when state and local government, nonprofits, and service providers move in step, working together with a shared sense of purpose. From grassroots organizations to regional collaboratives, these partnerships are the backbone of our county's ability to adapt, grow, and most importantly, meet people where they are and serve them with compassion, respect, and purpose. Whether it's working with cities on urban pocket annexations, advancing health and safety infrastructure with the state, or launching economic initiatives with local nonprofits, we succeed because we work together. Our Department of Environmental Resources works side by side with our local water districts like Oakdale and Modesto irrigation districts, as well as those in Knights Ferry and Diablo Grande. The Sheriff's Department tailors public safety contracts to each city's needs. Property tax sharing agreements keep more revenue local while promoting balanced growth. And as we invest in new sectors, we also double down on the ones that have always anchored our economy. Stanislaus County remains one of the most productive agricultural areas in the nation. And agriculture isn't just part of our past, it's key to our economic future. We are, at our core, still an ag-based economy. That really isn't changing anytime soon, and we proudly embrace it. Thanks to the vision of early leaders and the continuing foresight of our local irrigation districts, notably the Turlock Irrigation District, the first of its kind in California, we've had a century-long head start in securing reliable surface water. Gravity-fed water from the Sierra foothills delivered long before GPS and GIS now powers one of the state's cleanest, greenest energy systems. This infrastructure not only sustains our farms, it fuels our competitive electricity rates that make us a hub for agricultural processing. 8 of our 10 largest manufacturing employers are ag-based. Names like Gallo, Blue Diamond, Foster Farms, and Stanislaus Foods are just a few examples of businesses thriving here because of our agricultural strength. This success has fostered an industry cluster that includes world-class nurseries such as Dave Wilson and Birchall Nursery, generating jobs and growing our local economy. According to the most recent crop report, Stanislaus County ranks 6th in California and in the top 10 nationally for agricultural production, with milk and almonds leading the way. That's a testament not only to our farmers, but also to the systems that support them. Because of coordinated management through local sustainable groundwater management agencies and the stability provided by our surface water rights, we are better positioned than many regions to mitigate the long-term impacts of groundwater sustainability mandates. This kind of resilience doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of cooperation, planning, and commitment to long-term viability. We know agriculture only thrives when the people behind it do. That's why we are establishing a farm worker advisory committee to ensure we listen directly to those who help produce the food that feeds our community, our state, and our country. Our strength lies in our people, and we want to ensure their voices are part of the conversation shaping our future. We are also proud to be home to the largest county farm bureau in California, surpassing Fresno County, which is twice our size, both in population and production. That speaks volumes about how engaged and connected our local farmers are. Stanislaus County agriculture is a community, not just an industry. And as we look toward the future, we recognize that traditional crops and markets alone won't sustain us. Innovation will. Our byproducts, often mislabeled as ag waste, are becoming the raw materials of new industries. Almond hulls, walnut shells, and tree biomass have value as livestock feed, soil amendments, and even advanced materials. We are partnered with Beam Circular and institutions like Berkeley National Lab to explore better uses for these materials. This is the frontier of a more circular, sustainable agricultural economy. Proof that sustainability and profitability can grow together. Strategic investment is how we turn ideas like these into action, and the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, gave us an unprecedented opportunity to do so. Stanislaus County received $107 million in federal ARPA funds. We focused on these strategic areas with a willingness to adjust as needs evolved. You know, I still haven't heard of any other county doing what we did with our ARPA funds. Maybe some are out there, but not like us. We made serious investments in infrastructure and the economy, finding solutions to rebuild post-pandemic and spark long-term economic momentum. Every dollar has a purpose, and every project is moving us towards a stronger future. Our board committed to using one-time federal funding to make long-term community-driven investments with lasting impacts that truly matter. We asked, what can we invest in a better future for our working families? The answer took shape in Stanislaus 2030, our public-private economic development partnership built with input from over 200 community leaders. It focuses on creating middle-income, middle-skilled jobs, because over half of our residents struggle financially, even though most are working. But economic growth requires more than jobs. It requires childcare infrastructure that supports working parents. That's where our partnership with Nurture comes in. Originally developed in Merced County, the Nurture model caught our attention as a promising solution to address both the childcare gap and the need for entrepreneurial opportunities. We brought the concept to Stanislaus County, and in just 18 months, the Nurture pilot helped launch 75 new licensed home-based childcare businesses, creating over 600 new childcare slots in Stanislaus County. Half of the new providers are Spanish-speaking, and they've built strong peer networks that continue to support one another. These providers will enable nearly 800 parents to participate in the workforce over the next decade, generating $20 million in economic impact. The model is affordable, about $5,000 per new child care slot, and it's scalable. Other counties, including San Joaquin, are already following our lead. This is what innovative economic development looks like. Nurture is just one example of how we are always looking for great ideas, wherever they originate, that we can bring to scale here in Stanislaus County to serve our residents better. If you know someone who is passionate about working with children, send them to this website. Cohorts launch year-round, and support is available in English and in Spanish. Innovative programs are possible because of the strong financial foundation laid by those who came before us. We tip our cap to past boards of supervisors for their disciplined, fiscally conservative approach, decision that positioned us to weather challenges and to invest in long-term solutions. Thanks to that legacy, Stanislaus County remains resilient. We were able to protect core services, respond to emerging needs, and continue delivering for our communities. Because we've managed public dollars with care, foresight, and a commitment to sustainability. Despite ongoing uncertainty at the state and federal levels, the fiscal year 2026 proposed budget holds the line on core services, $1.87 billion, reflecting a modest increase of just under 1% in comparison to the 2025 adopted budget. It's a clear reminder that conservative fiscal management can go hand in hand with bold, forward-looking ideas. One of those goals is improving the roads and bridges that connect our communities. We are actively pursuing funding and regulatory flexibility to modernize our bridge system and strengthen the infrastructure that keeps Stanislaus County moving. Bridges connect more than roads. They connect people, goods, communities, and are especially important when it comes to emergency responses. They are how we take our kids to school, get products to market, and connect rural and urban life. I've crossed just about every one of our county bridges during my years in the fire service, and let me tell you, some of them are too tight for comfort. When a big rig comes at you and you're on a narrow bridge, it can be pretty nerve-wracking. There is no room for mistakes. And I've seen what happens when there are mistakes, and that's why bridge modernization matters. Our county bridge network of 225 bridges is the second oldest in California, with an average age of 80 years old. Heavier emergency vehicles, electric vehicles, and modern farm equipment stress aging structures. The safety risks are real, and the need is urgent. We are doing what we can with available resources. We currently have 20 active bridge projects across the county. We continue to advocate for our fair share of state and federal support, as well as regulatory relief in our conversations with legislators. We are proud to have completed the Crow's Landing Bridge project, which crosses over the San Joaquin River between Carpenter and Marshall Road, connecting nearby Stanislaus County communities. The bridge serves roughly 8,000 vehicles daily. 20% of it is truck traffic. A Caltrans assessment determined the original bridge to be structurally deficient, functionally obsolete, scour critical, and in need of full replacement to provide a safer river crossing. The new bridge features enhancements such as 2 12-foot wide lanes in each direction, a center median, a dedicated turn lane, and an additional center median lane for improved merging to Crow's Landing from Carpenter Road. And then there's the new tool that's making waves, literally paving a better path on our more than 1,500 miles of roadway. The one-person patcher. The one-person patcher is transforming how we repair roads across the county. It's where innovation meets service. Designed for less traveled roads, this equipment requires just one person to operate. It can patch potholes, alligatoring, and even gopher runs in just minutes. It's 3 times faster than a traditional 4-person crew and is already receiving positive feedback from residents and road crews alike. Here's how it works.
So the first step we do is we come up to the patch and we blow off the surrounding area to make sure it's a nice clean hole for the oil. Then the second thing is when the arm comes out, it starts spraying the oil down. As it's spraying the oil down, it also shoots out rock, and the oil and rock combination are what fill in the hole. So once he goes over the pass, he'll go over it a couple times with oil and rock and hit dry on it again. And then on the final few passes, he comes up with the oil, sprays oil and rock combined together. It's called the tack, and then hits it again with the dry rock and then lets it dry, and that's the final product right there.
And with fewer workers on the roadway, it's also safer. Traditional crews are now freed up to tackle larger projects, making our road maintenance operation more efficient. This new equipment is working out so well that our Public Works team is working on purchasing 2 more. Moving on, let's talk about one of my favorite little projects in the community of Valley Home. Every school day, Harold Pope School students walk to Valley Home School for lunch, but the current path they must take is far from safe. With no dedicated sidewalks, students are forced to walk directly along the edge of the roadway, often just feet from passing vehicles. Their route crosses multiple intersections without proper pedestrian markings or signals, creating additional risks. This is not the level of safety we should accept for our children. That's why I'm proud to share that we expect construction to begin this fall to install a safe concrete walkway with drainage swells. This new infrastructure will provide a protected, accessible route for students, improve stormwater management, and give parents peace of mind that their children can walk to lunch each day safely and with confidence. Last but not least, we are looking forward to the North County Corridor project. Phase 1 of the project begins at the Clarabelle and Oakdale Road intersection and connects to Claus Road. It will include the construction of a new 4-lane access controlled expressway, a new interchange at Roselle Avenue, grade separation structures over the BNSF rail line, Terminal Avenue, and the MID main canal, and new frontage roads to maintain access to adjacent properties. You know, it's funny, I remember riding in the back of my dad's pickup truck as a kid, back when you could do that, and we were talking through the sliding glass window, and he was discussing this infrastructure project that was going to make it so much easier to move across the county from the eastern edge. That was more than 4 decades ago. The government has never been accused of being quick, but we are trying. Here we are now with construction underway, and the completion of Phase 1 is expected to be in 2028. I invite you to visit the project website to learn more. Through clear intent, strategic action, honest evaluation, we're making Stanislaus County stronger. We choose collaboration, we choose innovation, and we choose to lead with both courage and compassion. This work is not always fast, it is not always easy, but it's always worth it, because what we do here together will outlast us. Every bridge we build, literally and figuratively, brings us closer to a more connected community. Every person we serve with dignity and care reinforces our core value, that each person matters. That's the heart of Stanislaus County. That's how we build community. And that's how together we become a community of choice where people live, work, and thrive, a place worthy of calling home. Thank you.